Athletes, bodybuilders, fitness enthusiasts, and health-conscious people have long known about the importance of sleep in replenishing human growth hormone, HGH, levels. Want proof? Consider this. Even the best athletes in the world may see a drop in their performance due to extended travels across several different time zones. This travel disrupts their circadian rhythms, a 24-hour cycle driven by a circadian clock that has a massive impact on many bodily functions, including the sleep-wake cycle. Many athletes, especially endurance athletes, experience a suppressed and weakened immune system by the nature of their training, and a lack of sleep makes this unfortunate condition worse. And this relationship is also essential for ordinary, everyday people who are not athletes or hardcore fitness fanatics. Sleep is one of the basic foundations of optimal health, yet it is all too often overlooked and neglected. The problem of sleep deprivation is exacerbated by technologies like the light bulb, cell phones, and the internet, which keep us awake in an increasingly 24/7 world. In fact, in today's always device-connected, quick-based culture, Americans are more sleep-deprived than ever. According to a 2013 Gallup poll, the average American slept 6.8 hours a night, and 40% slept less than 6 hours. Those figures are similar to Gallup polls in the 1990s and 2000s, but Americans, on average, slept much more in the 1940s. Americans average 6.8 hours of sleep, which is down more than an hour from 1942. Sleep experts recommend 7 to 9 hours of sleep for adults. Currently, 59% of U.S. adults meet that standard, but in 1942, 84% did. Crunch the numbers. 4 in 10 Americans get less than the recommended amount of nightly sleep, compared with the 11% who did so 70 years ago. Why are these grim numbers from the Gallup poll so alarming? The answer is simple. A lack of sleep elevates the chances of severe health risks. Countless studies have proven that insomnia is linked to a broad range of health afflictions such as weight gain. Lack of sleep leads to metabolic changes that may lead to weight gain and cause hormonal changes that make us hungry, and brain changes that make it hard to resist eating the wrong kinds of foods. This is especially true for children. A recent study concluded that children who slept on average 1 hour less a night than recommended had higher risk factors for type 2 diabetes, including higher levels of blood glucose and insulin resistance. Conversely, children who slept longer had lower body weight and lower levels of fat mass. Sleep duration was also inversely related to insulin, insulin resistance, and blood glucose. Also, cancer, cardiovascular disease, depression, attention deficit hyperactive disorder or ADHD, cognitive impairment and brain fog, depression, Alzheimer's disease, decreased immune system function, shrinking muscle mass, and loss of strength. If the previously mentioned health problems weren't bad enough, consider this. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, NHTSA, estimates that 1,550 fatalities and 40,000 injuries that occur annually in the United States are a direct result of drowsy driving. The National Transportation Safety Board, NTSB, agreed. The NTSB estimates that fatigue contributes to as many as 1/4 of all traffic accidents: car, train, bus, or plane. Drowsy driving is a hazardous mixture of driving while sleepy or extremely fatigued. Drowsy driving can cause drivers to fall asleep at the wheel, slow their reaction time if they suddenly need to steer or brake, affect drivers' reasonable judgment, and result in drivers paying less attention to their driving. As a result of these grim statistics, in 2014, the Center for Disease Control, CDC, labeled sleep deprivation a public health epidemic. After considering these sobering statistics, a stark fact emerges. Virtually every single aspect of our lives is impacted by sleep, for better or worse. One researcher stated that, quote, "lack of sleep makes us sick, fat, and stupid," end quote. Researchers have discovered a condition called presenteeism, in which workers clock in but are unable to perform productively. One estimate of the cost of this phenomena to the U.S. economy annually is in excess of $63 billion. None of this list of problems paints a pretty picture. By now, you can easily see just how significant the issue of sleep deprivation has become. So, is there anything you can do about it? Yes. Keep watching to discover more about the relationship between sleep and growth hormone. Here's a surprising fact. Every one of the above-mentioned health problems that occur as a result of a lack of sleep is the same problems that develop as a result of a lack of growth hormone. Each and every last one of them. Coincidence? No. Before I explain why, let's take a brief look at growth hormone and the mechanics of growth hormone release. Human growth hormone is a 191 amino acid, single-chain polypeptide that is manufactured, stored, and then secreted by somatotrophic cells of the anterior pituitary gland. Growth hormone is an essential component of the endocrine system and plays a vital role in boosting our energy levels, building muscle, vaporizing fat, and speeding up our metabolism. Growth hormone is released by exercising, fasting, and especially during sleep, when it can get to work repairing and restoring tissue, lowering blood pressure and body temperature, relaxing muscles, supplying blood to muscles and organs, and performing a wide array of restorations throughout the body. Normally, most people go through 4 stages of sleep unless their sleep is disrupted. A little-known fact is that these stages are not always in sequence. At times, one stage will jump back to a previous stage before moving forward to the next. The stages occur in a cycle that is usually around 90 minutes long. Here are the 4 stages of sleep. Light sleep. This stage is the beginning stage of falling asleep. The beginning of sleep. In this stage, we become unaware of our surroundings and our body temperature lowers. This is why sleep experts recommend sleeping in a cold room. The deepest stage of sleep, and also the most restorative stage. In stage 3, our breathing slows down. Our blood pressure drops. Our muscles relax. The blood supply to our muscles increases and tissue and muscle growth occurs. This is also the stage that hormones are released, including growth hormone. The 4th stage of sleep is the REM stage. REM is an acronym for rapid eye movement. This stage occurs at about 90 minutes after falling asleep and starts the 90-minute cycle mentioned earlier. This stage recharges our energy batteries and is crucial for our ability to awake refreshed and productive. This is the stage where dreams happen. Our eyes move back and forth, and our bodies become immovable since our muscles take a well-deserved break. REM is also the stage where the majority of restoration occurs since the blood enters the muscles more efficiently. Remember, the pituitary gland needs a signal to secrete HGH, and that signal is the REM stage. If you have trouble falling into a deep restorative sleep, the pituitary will continue to do its job and release growth hormone, but in far diminished amounts. The REM stage of sleep is the most essential stage since the pituitary gland secretes large amounts of growth hormone in this stage. This is the key to uncovering the link between sleep and growth hormone. Sleep is by far the best way to set the stage for the pituitary gland to secrete the vital HGH needed for our bodies to perform optimally. The best way to ensure your pituitary will release adequate amounts of HGH is to strive for a minimum of 8 hours of sleep nightly. The pituitary gland does not release growth hormone at an even, steady pace. Instead, the gland secretes the hormone in a pulse-like manner. These pulses are released during the day while exercising or fasting. But can you guess when the most massive pulses of HGH occur? Yep, you guessed it, during sleep. Studies have shown that the largest pulses occur before midnight and smaller pulses occur in the early morning hours. This growth hormone releasing schedule demonstrates how devastating it is to, quote, burn the candle at both ends, end quote.